All right. Webster's Dictionary defines combat as fighting between armed forces. Lieutenant Shepard, played by the unknown Danny Nucci, defines combat as an incursion underwater to retake an impregnable fortress held by an elite team of U.S. Marines in possession of 81 hostages and 15 guided rockets loaded with VX poison gas.
That was good.
Welcome back to the ReBotchables. We watched the 1996 action thriller, The Rock. Mike Hilsenrath, joined by Andy Shields and Mark Susko, as always. What a movie, you know. Just Michael Bay at his peak of his powers, just doing lots of cocaine. Maybe he doesn't even need cocaine. I don't even know. Maybe this is just what his mind is like all the time.
The need for it has no bearing on whether or not he used it constantly during this movie.
Yes. Released on June 7th, 1996, starring Nicolas Cage, Sean Connery, and Ed Harris. The final Don Simpson, Jerry Bruckheimer movie of their illustrious pairing, as Don Simpson tragically passed away during the filming of this movie, which was dedicated to him. I think he would have been pleased with his
Absolutely.
movie.
Yeah.
Budget $75 million, made $335 million worldwide. So pretty damn freaking good.
It's a big winner.
Fourth highest grossing movie of 1996, trailing Independence Day, Twister, and Mission Impossible.
God,
just what a
wow.
Just
Yeah.
a year of action movies and nothing else. Like
Great action movie here.
Yeah.
Wow.
Do we have the Oscar information this year?
You know what? I didn't. Maybe one of you guys can pull that up.
I'll pull it up.
Because we weren't really in Oscar zone here with any of the things I just mentioned either.
This did get one nod though.
It did. It got one nomination for best sound editing. It did not win. Sound mixing, I believe.
It was just sound at the time. I don't think they were mixing and editing. I think that sound was the whole category.
Let me just give you 1996 Oscars real quick.
So, Mark, this would actually be the 1997 Oscars.
Oh. Okay.
Right, because these came out in 96. It's a little
right.
Sorry. Okay. Well, the host for the 96 Oscars was Whoopi Goldberg. For whatever that's worth.
That's as far as we got.
All right. Here we go. Oh, what? Wow. Okay. Best picture. Best picture. The English Patient.
Oh, this year.
Terrible.
God.
Terrible.
Was this Good Will Hunt? No. This wasn't good.
So Fargo, I guess, was also nominated.
Fargo.
Jerry Maguire, Secrets and Lies. I never saw that. Shine. Never saw that. How does Fargo not win that?
This is one of my top 3 Oscar angry moments that Fargo didn't win.
Yeah. Well, let's forget about the Oscars for this year. Yeah.
We don't need them.
Would you say that like this is the golden age of summer action movies when you get Independence Day, Twister, The Rock, and Mission Impossible, which I think came out Memorial Day? Just like whoa.
Yeah.
I had that for Apex Mountain, not to get ahead of ourselves, but action movies, just summer blockbusters, all that. Yeah. 1996.
And it seems like post 1996 is when they started getting a little ridiculous. Like they're already trending on ridiculous with this and Twister, but they're still kind of believable. And then you start getting your face-offs and your Armageddons and your...
Well, yeah, because this is the last like coherent movie that Michael Bay ever made. Like, they started going off the rails because Michael Bay started making more action movies.
The first Transformers is good. This movie has an 85% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes.
Wow.
In 2019, Tom Ryman from Collider ranked The Rock as Michael Bay's best movie. It's not only his finest film, he wrote, it's also a perfect snapshot of the height of 90s action movies. So we're not the only ones who feel this way.
Yeah.
There's a formula here that just like you can't go more than like 10 minutes without some adrenaline rush happening. And I think like this is kind of the formula for action movies going forward. The bad ones, at least, and some of the.
Raj. Did you guys look up what Raj gave this movie out of 4?
Yeah.
2?
3.5. 3.
He went 3.5.
Oh,
Raj
my
is in
God.
on the Rock. Here's what he had to write. The Rock is a first-rate slam bam action thriller with lots of style. 3 skillful performances, Cage, Connery, and Harris. Great chemistry between the 2 leads. Watching The Rock, you really care about what happens. You feel silly later for having been sucked in, but that's part of the ride. I think that's true. You do care because,
you do.
like, we not to like get ahead of ourselves, but like, it's a villain that is not just like some stupid bad guy action villain. Like, he has motives that are realistic in the real world, and he has like a heart, like, because he doesn't really want to kill anybody. He's just bluffing the whole time, essentially. But very rarely do you see a 90s action movie with a villain who has like a conscience and like isn't just like some idiot from Die Hard, you know, like either the Grubers or
Right.
Nick Cage and Face Off. Like, he has a real soul.
Yeah. Or the guy from what was Dennis Hopper's name in Speed? Also crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is one of the first like sympathetic action movie villains.
Yeah. Yeah.
Only to be out-villained by Captain Fry, who's just a crazy person.
Yeah. I mean, this is just a great movie. I hadn't seen it front to back in a long time. It's like one of those I just pick up when it's on TV.
Is it on TV anymore? I feel like I don't catch it.
It's occasionally on like TNT, and I'll get sucked in with commercials. But it's not a good commercial movie because there's a lot of cursing in this movie.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't seen it in probably 20, 25 years. I thought it was a lot funnier than I remembered.
It's really funny.
Purposes and also like accidentally.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it was from 1996. Sorry,
Apparently, the script was the movie itself started off to be way more serious than it actually is. And a lot of the funny moments and most of Cage's stuff actually is improv. So
yeah,
like a lot of his lines are completely unscripted. And I guess like he and Bay fought over a lot of what should stay in the movie, what they should keep out. Like Bay, it's not like someone's got a coherent vision for this project, because like the studio was angry at Bay, San Francisco was really mad at Bay, Connery didn't really like it much but vouched for him. Cage is obviously on cocaine with Bay the whole time, so like, they are arguing. It's like this isn't like a Coppola movie where it's like someone's got a vision of a cohesive picture. This is like putting things together piecemeal, and it's amazing.
Yeah.
And the cast is phenomenal. I mean,
it's
I know
outrageous.
All that, but
yeah. Well, we'll do a whole cast section. I mean,
but just even
the amount of people who have small parts.
But even just talk about the 3 main people, like that's phenomenal too. Like Connery, Cage, and Ed Harris. Like I don't know, I just forgot that those are the main 3.
Yeah.
And it's the same FBI department as the Negotiator. It's the same. I swear to God, they just contracted out those 2 movies together. It's like a 2-for-1 or something. I don't know.
There's a ton of guys in this movie who are just like either career bad guys or career. Like they've never done anything else.
Yeah. There's a lot of people who have been in other 90s action movies and then never to be heard from ever again.
Yeah. It's got typecast to death.
Connery, I think, was the biggest revelation for me on the rewatch. Like, he's so goddamn charming. Like, I forgot.
Mm-hmm.
Like, even when he curses, it's great. Like,
the accent, the delivery, the confidence with every line he says. It's I agree. I haven't really watched many movies that he's in outside of like Indiana Jones and The Last Crusade. I'm trying to think. I don't know his like acting prowess that well, but just seeing him here, he's just like, wow, you're wowed by him.
Yeah, he quotes Oscar Wilde and then says, "Personally, I think you're a fucking idiot."
Yeah. The script is amazing. Connery, and he's getting up there by this point too, and he's still bringing it.
I mean, have you seen many movies with Connery?
All the James Bonds. I mean, but I haven't really I don't really know them that well. You know, I've seen them all probably a handful of times, but
I can save you the time. He's not playing anyone else in any of the other movies. It's all the same guy.
Except for Finding Forrester.
Yeah.
A little bit headier there. All right, you want to get into the scenes?
Let's do it.
I have one more opening thought, and this was the first thing, the first real thought that came to mind while watching this. I didn't take many notes on this movie because it's so hard to stop and pause because it moves so quickly. But the first thing I wrote down was, this is a movie that made me Google, does sarin gas cause cockroaches to explode? And from there on out, it's like, he's got me. This is amazing.
Yeah. There's a lot of picking nits that could be done. I'm going to let you guys pick the nits, because if it's good enough for Michael Bay's vision and brain, then who am I to pick his nits?
Very excited to pick nits.
Someone who's not drugs.
I got it down to 6 scenes, but it's a good way to go through the movie. Number 1, the opening credits / the Hummel heist when they're stealing the VX gas. You get the full Hans Zimmer score in the first 5 minutes of the movie. He gives you every note. He gives you the slow, the dramatic, and the dun 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 dun. You get the whole thing, and the movie hasn't even started yet. It's amazing.
Yeah.
There's a lot of close-ups of Ed Harris's face in the first 5 minutes of the movie, just thinking. Jenna says he has a perfect face. I'm just throwing that in there as an aside.
Really? I was curious what females think of Ed Harris. I have no concept of what they do.
And it's just the credits, the way the words come at you with just an explosion filling up the words behind it. You don't even know what the explosion is, just an explosion.
It comes in right when you realize that he can't do anything to save his guys from behind enemy lines. They're not coming for us, are they?
Yeah.
And then there's just fire on the screen with somebody.
Yeah. And in that first scene, it's worth pointing out that they're actively not killing people. They're only using darts at that point. We only got 30 minutes. These guys will wake up. So they start out with very good intentions, even though it's hard to see in retroactively how this band of misfits ever would have been on board with that plan.
Yeah.
But
and I just want to go back to the flames in the credits again. Normally, I'm sorry, but I feel now that we've mentioned this, I feel like this is something in Bay films. Normally, something is exploding. Either it's a car or a planet, or even in Armageddon, I think the credits themselves, the title of the movie itself explodes. This is something blows up. It's just an explosion that takes up the entire shot. If this is
the sole purpose of letters.
Yeah, if this isn't a precursor to everything that Michael Bay does for the rest of his career, we all should have just seen this coming.
Yes,
amazing.
The ReWatchables podcast, I feel has touched on this a little bit. What's the best movie where they say the title of the movie in the movie? And I actually thought this would be up there. After Sean Connery goes through the fire in the Alcatraz, he's like, "Welcome to the Rock." I mean, that's just.
And by that point, he says the Rock 6 times in the movie. Too.
Yeah, but that's the primo delivery. I feel like.
Yes.
Of it.
It's great.
It's quintessential.
Roll credits right there.
Yeah.
It's I think the first time he says it is The Rock has become a tourist attraction.
Yeah. It's how is that possible?
I don't think that's my most rewatchable scene. It's worth mentioning how awesome the credits are because it really gets you going.
Agreed.
Quickly.
Yep.
Then I'm gonna jump ahead for my next scene, which I will call the haircut / car chase scene because it all kind of bleeds into one. The haircut scene is ridiculous. Like, there's no way that shower curtain line is holding up the FBI director by his hand.
Or an 80-year-old man is holding up the FBI director.
By his hand, yeah. But awesome. I guess when they filmed that, like, it was real, and like people were calling like 911 saying that some man was dangling from the Fairmont Hotel.
Oh wow! It's a beautiful shot. You're overlooking the city. It's a beautiful day.
Oh, it's great. It's great.
You could feel the tension. Like, yeah, it's great.
So then Connery obviously escapes the haircut. Porch orders everybody the food, makes his way out. My underrated part of this scene is when he goes to the kitchen, just like the Japanese chef.
the fat chef.
Yeah, they're just like screaming gibberish. Like
he offends everybody. It's the Japanese chef, the gay stylist. Who's just
oh god,
it's really bad. And then you get the black trolley conductor too.
Yeah. God. Yeah.
A lot of close-ups on the trolley conductor.
But the Japanese chef is just like, there's no reason for him to just start screaming maniacally. Like you just could have gotten out of the way and let him go.
Oh god.
The haircut, the barber is so over the top too.
So over the top.
And that's it. He's a great that guy who we'll talk about.
Yeah,
later.
I was gonna say. Okay.
We'll save that for later. And then once they get going, it's like you can just feel Bay like in his brain, like, all right, we need a Hummer and then we need a Corvette.
Humvee.
And we're just gonna have a million shots.
It's a Ferrari.
It's a Ferrari. Sorry, it's a Ferrari of like cars going over the San Francisco Hill and landing.
By the way, every single car in that chase scene is filled with landmines.
Yeah, they're just exploding. They run into like every hilarious thing that is like possible. Like an old lady crossing the road is what makes the trolley go off. It makes him hit the trolley to make that go off the tracks. The trolley itself is ridiculous. Like,
I like this.
Save yourselves! And then people are just jumping off.
I love the trolley conductor. I also love that before he almost hits the old lady, he has time to ask the operator to hold on a second.
Yeah.
That is not an old lady, by the way. That is like a young woman.
Yeah. She's got a walker. It's clearly a stunt person who's there to dive out of the way. And then after that, they still have time, wouldn't you know it, to run into a wheelchair basketball team crossing the street, too, that they have to avoid. It's just incredible Michael Bay throwing things at them. And then he finally crashes Nick Cage in the Ferrari, and he gets that like classic. It's like the exact same shot as Will Smith in Bad Boys when they decide that they're going to go after the bad guy. It's like that pan up of him that swirls around him from behind in slow motion, and it's just like the Michael Bay action movie shot.
Totally.
Yeah. Ed Harris fucking hated that shit on set, by the way.
Yeah. He did not. He was not a fan.
You just crashed your Ferrari.
You just fucked your Ferrari.
Fucked up your Ferrari. Trolley driver's probably not in enough, but like honorable mention, he checks since he's not going to win the award. There's just too many people, but his 30 seconds in the movie are pretty incredible.
He was the first guy I wrote down.
Yes, me too. Yeah.
How y'all doing today? Oh shit!
Wait, you wrote him down for that guy?
No, I wrote it down for
okay.
They knew.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, I guess they knew too. Yeah,
when
he fits everywhere.
By the way, how does everyone get off of the trolley so quickly?
Yeah, you can see them jumping off. They just like jump off.
Okay.
They're not moving that fast, so there is time once it gets hit to just like casually fall. You probably fall to the ground. I don't think that part's that outrageous.
Yeah.
I've been on that thing. It's not moving slowly.
They're diving. It's a little unrealistic.
Yeah, but I guess you can get off if the alternative is the thing blowing up and getting raised up 40 feet in the air before landing on itself.
I wrote down here. I just wrote down at one point. I wrote down so many tight shots, so much air guitar. It's just the sound. Connery's got some great one-liners. I hope you're insured. I'm only borrowing your Humvee.
I love the
German guy's great.
I love the German guy. This is my Humvee. I don't want the instance of scratches. I'll have your ass.
Oh, so there's 4 people who are stereotyped in a minute span. We forgot about him.
Well, also the old woman and the wheelchair basketball team.
Yes.
How many different groups can you offend in a 10-minute span, Michael?
Oh man, it's a really great car chase scene though. Like, there's nothing like
I never know where they are. Like, there's no. This is like typical Michael Bay. Where like, you know how we talked. I think we talked about this in the Die Hard movies, where on the ship or for Die Hard with a Vengeance, where you kind of get the map of where everybody is, where everyone's moving. I don't think Michael Bay ever learned this part of movie making in film school. He's like, let's shoot on 5 different streets at the same time and have every shot be a second and a half. So no one knows what the fuck is going on.
The shots move too quickly for you to ever know. And that's the point.
I had that for What's Age the Worst. I mean, I feel like the quick shaking camera, my brain hurts during some of the parts of the scene.
Yeah, with like William Forsythe doing the play-by-play.
Yeah.
Radio to everybody. He's hitting everything in sight, trying to block us.
Yeah, I wrote this down for the next rewatchable scene, but it's like his style where he's constantly keeping you. He's doing it on purpose to like mess with your head and stress you out. Like, he's cutting from good guy to bad guy, back to the home base of the good guy, back to the home base of the bad guy, to the girlfriend, to the daughter. Like, it's like constantly, and you're not on anybody for more than a second or two. Yeah. And then it's just like, you never have any idea what's going on.
The Ferrari's windshield is broken in one shot. The next one is fine. Then it's broken again. It's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, you can do that as long as you don't make a shit ton of continuity errors. But
yeah.
Also, like, Sean Connery's been locked up for
Michael Bay filmmaking.
Connery's been locked up for 34 years. How does he have any idea where he's going?
Yeah. It's a nitpick.
Maybe he doesn't. Yeah. Maybe he's just getting away. That's it. Doesn't matter.
You can say that about getting out of Alcatraz later on.
You either know San Francisco or you don't. I don't know.
I guess he probably knows it. All right.
That's know how to drive a Humvee.
Yeah. Well, he's trained by British Special Forces.
Oh, that's Okay.
My third scene is the arrival at Alcatraz, which is even more Michael Bay than this car scene. Like, the quick shots from the chopper, the dialogue in the chopper, the SEALs, the home base, Vanessa Marcel, like, still some jokes between Cage and Connery on their way there. The underwater, like, propeller things are just really fucking cool. I remember seeing that for the first time, being like, that is awesome. Because like, he fought to have that in the movie. He walked off the set for a day when they wanted to cut that out because they wouldn't fund it. The scene of the SEALs underwater breaching Alcatraz with the underwater propellers. That's why he walked off the movie.
When you say underwater propellers, that's like the things they're holding on to.
Yeah. Each person has their own little, like, motorboat. Yeah. Like, I had never seen that before.
Do those things actually exist?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Those are sweet.
I just a quick nitpick with that just while we're on it. I looked at that scene pretty closely, and the meter, I don't know if it's knots per hour or kilometers per hour, but either way, it's going 66 at one point. Really fast.
It's really fast.
Wow.
Well, they have to get there in a hurry. Either way, it's just like the overhead chopper shots. Like, it cuts to the overhead chopper shots like every 10 seconds just to let you know that they're still in the chopper on the way there. And then you see, like, the bad guys tracking them, but also the good guys are tracking them. And it's kind of hard to tell at some point, like, who's actually yelling what out, but it doesn't even matter. Like, because it doesn't matter. They're going to the island.
Like, that's one of, like, the coolest things that he does. Like, in that scene, he shows that these are both really highly trained groups of special forces teams that are both doing their own job, regardless of what side they're on. Like, they're both moving in kind of the same way. We're like, this is going to be a showdown of highly trained people versus highly trained people.
Yes.
Which I also like in that scene where they said, we're going to night vision, and they just turn on a black light in the chopper.
Yeah. They're going to night vision. In 1996, that's night vision. And then this scene ends with what you're talking about earlier, Mark, where he memorizes the timing of the whatever the hell that thing is. That for some reason is still on, producing fire. Fire, like fire thing, plumes of fire, like every 5 seconds. And he just like rolls through and then welcome to the Rock. Like, I get chills when he says welcome to the Rock.
Every time. Welcome to the Go ahead, Mark.
No, I was gonna say I just love Sean Connery. He's just sitting there, just staring at it. He's like, wait for the timing to come back to me. Like it's just so great. He's just sitting there, just looking at it, so chill. He's just great. That's all.
I love that. So I was gonna do research on what is a cistern, and would that actually happen? Like, why are those gears shaped the way they are?
Nothing makes any sense about what's going on.
Like, if you think about a gear, right? Like, it needs to be a complete circle. It's like a whole chord of it is just like like 40 degrees missing. The thing would fucking stop. It's outrageous. So I didn't do any research on it.
No, that's
clearly.
fine.
Just like this, we're just gonna let this one slide.
Yeah. If you had to choose between two action scenes of the two we just mentioned, which one would be most rewatchable for you?
I don't like the first. I know it's probably more exciting, the car chase. I just hate the dizzying with the camera angles with the car chase. So I'd choose the second.
Can I choose the opening credits?
For action?
For action, yeah. I love even more than like a good fight scene. I love when there's one group or one guy making his way through something silently without anybody else knowing. I love stuff like that.
That's a good point.
There's no fucking way with any of the way that they actually did it that it would ever work silently, because a guy like gets hit in the stomach with a rubber bullet and then breaks through a window and falls 40 feet to the ground.
Yeah, there's nothing quiet about their heist in the beginning of the movie at all. Yeah.
But I like the opening credits. But I'm with Mark. I like the latter rather than the car chase scene.
I would agree.
Yeah, I agree. It's a good point about the solo action scene, like the Mission Impossible when he's suspended coming down. Like that's like the most riveting scene, like in movie action history. I feel like. I mean, that's a good point.
Yeah. I'll take people sneaking around over a gunfight any day.
Totally.
Scene number 4, the shower room standoff, which is just about follows this scene about 5 minutes later. Kyle Reese from Terminator is just bringing it. Like, he's so fucking excited to be in a movie and be relevant again for the first time since 1984. Like, he is just going for it every time he's on screen in this movie. His real name is Michael Biehn.
Michael Biehn.
It's like his last stand.
Yeah.
In movie history.
You're down there and we're up here.
Cease fire.
Yeah. Just a great standoff. Like, and there's 2 standoffs in this movie, and like, this is a great one.
That one takes the cake. Yeah.
I mean, I agree. You can tell that Ed Harris doesn't want to kill him. He's mad when it's happening. Like, he can't believe that they just murdered like all these other military people in cold blood like that. And it's just a ridiculous shootout once it starts. Like,
so who actually knocks the brick off to really signal the shootout?
One of the guys on top hits the brick by accident, and then some dude who's too jittery down below fires the first shot.
Question. It's one of the like no-name Marines.
Yeah, it's one of the no-names. Yeah.
Okay. But are they part of that group that Ed Harris brought in that doesn't really know? Okay. Yeah. Okay. I couldn't write down Kyle Reese enough.
So Michael Biehn is he's done a ton of action movies. He's in He's in Navy SEALs with Charlie Sheen and President Palmer from 24. He's all over the place. It was one of my favorite like 80s 90s action movie typecast guys. Like if you were making a movie where someone needed to carry a gun in the 80s or 90s, Michael Biehn better be fucking involved because he's so good.
But I feel like this is the most like he gets like monologues in this movie, which probably hasn't happened like since Terminator.
He gets one of my favorite lines when they're going through. Well, let's keep going. We'll get to that in a second.
Well, he's dead here, so you can say his final.
Oh yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
I mean, don't you think he's doing a poor job too, just negotiating or trying to de-escalate the situation?
I wouldn't call whatever he did as negotiating.
Well, just trying to, yeah. I mean, he's not de-escalating the situation, and you got to know if you're a war commander or whatever that you're in a point of weakness with guns pointing down at you, right? I mean, that's.
I think he starts out okay, and then he just it really falls apart.
I will not tell my man to stand down.
Yeah.
We've spilled the same blood in the same mud, General.
Yeah, that's a good one. Spilled the same blood in the same mud.
And then they're just screaming at each other. I will not give that order.
Yeah.
I will not give that order.
That's a great scene.
So, can I add a scene? Are you done with rewatchables? Or
I'm not done.
Okay, all right. I wanted to add a scene from earlier, but go ahead.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm just gonna read off Michael Biehn's post-Terminator movie titles: Deadly Intentions, Rampage, In a Shallow Grave, Navy SEALs, Time Bomb, K2, A Taste for Killing, Deadfall, Tombstone, like Jade, Breach of Trust, Conundrum, and then The Rock. So really, this is the first time he's in something that a lot of people are going to see.
I agree with that, but K2, underrated movie. I don't know if you ever saw that. That's a good movie.
It's not bad.
Navy SEALs also underrated.
Okay.
Amazing.
Yeah. I have two more scenes. The next one is the morgue scene into the underground mine shaft situation, whatever the fuck is going on there. Great back and forth between Goodspeed and Mason in the morgue with the feet. What is the feet thing? It's supposed to do that. Their chemistry is like
you've been around a lot of corpses. Is that normal?
Like the way that Connery's all jittery when he's handing him the balls and he's trying to like go through everything. Is great. And then they like dive into that laundry shaft and then they end up on that thing. Sean Connery ends up lighting John C. McGinley on fire from below, which is a great move. And then scene ends with Cage finally coming to life and firing the gun to save Mason.
Yeah, love that scene. I like this. So there's a lot of like little SAS tradecraft going into that one, right? Like shooting underneath the desk to hit the guy's feet who's standing in a better position. Then taking out the air conditioner instead of walking over and just shooting him in the head now that he's disabled and doesn't have a gun. The kerosene and the waterproof matches.
Yes.
Used to light Dr. Cox from Scrubs?
Dr. Cox, yeah. And he's one of the Bobs.
So they go through his little kit on the, like, what did Mason bring with him? A water bottle full of kerosene, waterproof matches, and 3 washers?
Yeah,
Yeah, it was weird. Yeah.
Like, you got it. It's like a standard Chekhov's gun thing. Like, you got to be able to use those later on. I think he uses the washers when he makes that rope thingy to tie. You think those are involved somewhere? Oh yeah.
I think they're to weight that thing down. I think the washers are on the end of it, and then they hook.
I never caught that before. That's really good.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, Michael Bay. You win this round.
And then my final rewatchable scene I call the Mutiny of a Lunacy. It's my own personal spin on the scene. When they all turn on Ed Harris. We bluffed. They called it. It's over. Tony Todd is just like he is really bringing it in this final part of the movie. His overreactions to the missile being off target are ridiculous enough, and then when he's just yelling at Ed Harris, it's just absurd.
Good.
And then this just takes us through the flare. I'm counting this all as the end of the movie. Tony Todd getting you're the Rocket Man, and then he gets blasted out. The poison ball into that asshole's mouth is great, and then just like the classic Michael K. flare guns shot, the jets.
The way it's
just
shot,
like kneeling
is great.
there.
It's like looking up at him. Yeah,
It's so
great.
good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is so good.
Just fluorescent orange, fluorescent green, fluorescent blue, all over the place. The whole movie.
Yeah.
Classic Michael Bay.
But the Mexican standoff is great between the when they start turning on him. You know, it's been an honor of my lifetime to serve you. And then he's bluffing there too. He still starts, and they all just fire on each other.
But
You can never go wrong with that in a movie.
Is that a definition of Mexican standoff? I don't know what that term means. I only know it from The Office, so I actually don't know what it actually.
just everybody's pointing guns at each other.
Okay. Got it. Mexican standoff.
We probably can't say it anymore. Can't cancel.
We're gonna the ReBotchables is gonna get canceled.
Of all the things that happen in this movie, Mexican standoff is the least offensive.
Yeah. Also, like Cage just like stabbing himself in the heart with an antidote pen. Like, there's no way that's solving your problems, right? The thing melts your skin from the outside. How does a stabbing your heart?
But where do you stab it? Where do you have to stab it? I mean, it's right. You got to stab it somewhere. Why not the heart?
So atropine is used to counteract poison only in the event that you get like a severe dose of it, because it's supposed to get into your bloodstream more quickly if you inject it into your heart to counteract it getting all throughout your body. The problem with that scene is that he stabs himself with a tiny needle through a bulletproof vest.
It
looks like it should be his stomach rather than his heart.
Yeah.
But it is like the problem with this is that they fucked up what VX gas actually does to you. VX gas does not melt your skin off prior to it killing you from the inside. That's what they fucked up about it. The atropine actually is accurate.
Okay.
Okay. But it's way cooler if it melts your skin off.
Yeah. It is way cooler. The fighter jet, I feel like the guy really brings it. Whoever that guy is. Great job by him. Limited role. Can't even see his face. Yeah, he's just really good throughout it. Like, you know.
Yeah. I agree with that.
And it's just a great end of the movie. Like, it's really riveting. Connery comes back to save him. You know he's coming back. Obviously, where the hell is he going to go?
Pulls the Han Solo.
Totally pulls the Han Solo. They steal a lot from a lot of movies along the way, but it's fine.
I have one earlier scene to add.
I have an honorable mention, but you guys go. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I just think the first scene with Nick Cage and Sean Connery in the negotiation room.
Yeah.
I would add that to the mix. I had that in my top 5. Just Sean Connery looks like such a badass with the long hair, sitting at the table. Just the tension of the negotiation. You don't know what's going to happen. You don't know why this is happening. They sent in William Forsythe to start, who's like such a dick in that scene. I don't know. I just love that scene.
Forsythe says, is it Forsythe or Forsythe?
I don't
Forsythe,
know. You're probably right.
I believe.
Forsythe.
Yeah. He says a lot of shit that just doesn't make any sense. Like,
he's terrible.
Get this. You don't like. I don't like you. I don't like. Or what is it? I don't like you any more than you like me. Like, that fucking comes out of nowhere. Like, can't do anything to piss him off. He's just trying to be a hard ass. Also, like, why would then a piece of shit aluminum chair do anything to a quarter to make it sharp?
Yeah, I don't. I mean, like the ways that like They say he's like the most dangerous escape artist of all time. It's just ridiculous. All he needs is a quarter to break out of chains.
Yeah, they're like, this is the most dangerous. This is the most dangerous man on the planet. Hey, biochemical weapons guy, why don't you go talk to him?
Yeah. God.
I have a different one. It was from earlier where it's right when Womack gets the call from Alcatraz, and they're in the room with the generals and the FBI.
Oh yeah.
Where they're going through like, who is General Hummel? Like it's the resume strategy scene, which I always love. Like I think action movies should be measured by kind of that. Like who are these people? Why are they in the position that they are? Why are they the best at what they do? Like Connery is clearly the most dangerous man, but all they say about Connery is he's a professional escape artist. And that's right before they go through. But like with Hummel, what does Sinclair say? 2 Purple Hearts, 6 Silver Stars, and the Congressional Medal of Jesus?
Yeah. I mean,
This is when you're talking about the chief of staff that he like Hummel undresses.
Yeah, and they talk about like the Red Sea Trading Company, illegal arms. He's giving away classified information.
Yeah,
Hummel
he knows they have that slush fund. Yeah,
he's like
Hummel's showing like he's not to be fucking trifled with. He knows more than everybody in the room. He's been around the block, and then they talk about VX and why it's so dangerous. And it's action movies like nowadays. All the action movies are centered around like the world is gonna end. Like there's a nuclear bomb, or there's something that's going to blow up the planet, or this is going to completely destabilize the entire global economy. This is just one city. It's like they're going to fire some rockets on San Francisco. The rest of the country is going to go on, but like within this microcosm of this one city, it's going to be fucking disastrous, and we need to stop it. It's like the enemy is formidable, the weapons are formidable, and we don't know how we're going to stop it. But we have this guy, and I think that scene's great. I think that's
60 or 70 when he's like, "Oh, that's not so bad," and he's like, "1,000."
Yeah,
for teaspoon. Yeah.
What did you say?
The only guy is the guy that was sent from the White House being the dumbest person in the room.
He's like, by your 9th birthday, I was like running Black Ops in China or something. He's says that to the chief of staff. That's a great line.
My honorable mention was just the Connery Harris showdown. It's very quick, but when they're on screen together, it's awesome.
Two like war experts who are philosophical, kind of.
Yeah.
Just know the art of war. Yeah, I agree.
Really good
point. Yeah.
What's age the best?
Wait, what's the most rewatchable?
Oh.
I would put the haircut on the roof and into the chase scene. I mean, I just think that haircut on the roof scene is it's so much tension.
But you said you didn't like the chase scene.
I don't like
the other
chase scene.
You like the haircut. You like the haircut.
Yeah, the whole build up there.
It is a pretty amazing lobster seafood platter that they get delivered to that room too.
It's a beautiful shot of the city.
I like that all the San Francisco field agents all have New York accents. Like, who the fuck are these guys?
William Forsythe, Brooklyn guy, by the way.
Oh, nice.
You can tell. I think mine's the end. The end of the movie is just great. Starting with the Mexican standoff. Just from the Mexican standoff through flares. Like, I can watch that over and over again. I can pick that up at any moment. And I mean, if they're close to that, I'm sticking around for it.
This is the first time that we have a 3-way split on most rewatchable. Because I've got the opening credits.
Okay.
From the time that you see the sign Naval Weapons Base, because the Naval Weapons Base would have a sign that says Naval Weapons Base on it. I'm fucking in. This is amazing.
Yeah, Naval Weapons Base. God, that's great.
Naval Weapons Depot, I think it is.
Yeah. All right. What's aged the best? I wrote my first thing down was just the plot. I just think it's a good plot. And of note, Quentin Tarantino and Aaron Sorkin were both aided in the writing of this script.
Yeah. I wanted to talk about this. Like, what parts do we think they weighed in on? What parts do we think
anything that Hummel said is Sorkin, because he's so eloquent, right?
Yeah.
And Sorkin definitely wrote whatever that president's speech was. You know, this is the hardest call I've ever had to make.
Airstrike approved.
Yeah, airstrike approved.
I think Sorkin probably helped out with the briefing room scene.
Yes,
for sure. Like the back and forth going through, insulting one another. It's all really sarcastic.
Yeah.
What would it take to arm a fleet of F-18s with thermite plasma? An act of God. Like that's so funny.
Yeah. Yes, and then Tarantino's right. Maybe like the standoff. I don't know.
Oh,
that's definitely good call.
Especially with all those people dying at the end,
and definitely stabbing in the heart with the needle. That's
yeah. Well, doesn't some guy like fall off the building and like the stake goes? I think it's
that's Tony Todd. He gets hit with a rocket. He gets hit with a rocket and gets the stake through his body. that's quite a way to go.
I wanted to talk about best. I wanted to talk later about best henchman death other than Tony Todd. That's clearly
okay. But overall, even with like the script and the plot is like really, it's really original and good overall. Like you said, it's not focused on the world ending. It's just like this one particular threat, and the motives of them are good. Like they're just trying to get some money and pull off a good old fashioned bluff.
Yeah, it's a little heisty, right? Like they're not actually trying to kill anyone. They're just trying to get money under the guise of a terrorist act. But I think that also the idea that you've got this like novel. This is the first time that anyone's really used this type of like chemical warfare against civilians as a threat in the movie. And like, if you're growing up and you see that like string of pearls configuration, like that's fucking cool. It's just a really cool. It's not like this is a gas canister or a gas grenade. Like this liquid in this really volatile, unstable form can kill 60,000 people with one of them, and they've got 15 of these things. Yeah, like it's a really menacing threat, along with a guy who knows what the fuck he's doing. Which is, like action movies are only as good as their villains, and Hummel's a really good villain.
Yeah, I was just looking because just what you said made me think of it. Just I actually I don't think I ever saw it in theater or actually saw it in the movie. Outbreak was the year before, which is also chemical warfare, is what I'm assuming. I don't think I ever saw it though. What was Outbreak?
Yeah,
biological
virus. Yeah.
I guess it's that whole genre though. Yeah, but you're right. I think The Rock does do a good job of showing like what you just see the green pearl or whatever to actually see what it looks like. I don't know. That's a good point. Interesting.
It's also like ludicrous that that's how they arrange them. Even Cage comments on it at one point. He's like, "Why are they like in these delicate pearl things that could just snap off at any moment?" Like,
it's so stupid. Like someone did that thing wrong, and those like, fuck off. It's never gonna work.
The quality control, not.
Yeah. It's like the rocket exploding was going to be so weak that they needed to make this glass canister.
But the way I'm guessing is that's how it came. That's how they stole it from the naval base too. Like, why would the Navy store it like that? They didn't like take it and put it into the pearls, right? Or do you think they did?
I don't know.
No. It was stored in the Navy base because that first guy dies with the same configuration. Okay. And they were meant to go into the rockets, right? Like it's that same spherical configuration that fits perfectly inside. Because they steal the canisters and the rockets separately. So the rocket was probably meant to carry a number of different substances.
Okay.
I don't know. Either way, the green cylinder, the green spheres are really fucking cool.
Yeah, they're cool.
Albeit outrageously dumb.
Yeah, and the plot in general is very like Michael Bay, where he likes to do movies where like not the heroes save the day. Like it kind of starts off in Bad Boys where it's kind of just like these two renegade cops are the ones who like end up like bringing down this whole scheme. Then it's this where it's the biochemical dude and some old guy save the city of San Francisco. Then Armageddon, where a bunch of freaking oil miners fly up to an asteroid to blow it up. Like Transformers, It's just some Shia LaBeouf saves the world. Like he never has just like cop guy save the day.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, let's do this now. What Nick Cage is doing is not chemical weapons related at all. He's taking apart a missile and taking the guidance chip out of the missile and not doing anything with the game. He doesn't need
computer programmer. Yeah.
No, but he
teach them. Here's the canister. You pull this out. Be really fucking careful with it, and then take this chip out, and you're good.
I know. I did write. That's the only thing I wrote down for picking nits was why did they need Nick Cage to do this at all?
That's your only picking nit.
It's the same.
Like I said, I don't like to pick
You don't
apart
like to
Michael
pick
Bay
nits.
too much.
Okay.
Because it's just you could get out of control. But like, they should have at least had it like where he had to like put the pearls into like some bag that he brought with him that like kept him safe or something. Something. He just takes the balls out, takes the chip out, and then puts the balls right back in.
Or
what were they planning to do with the balls? The balls were still sitting there.
There's still a shitload of VX gas on the ice when they're done.
Yeah, and the explosion goes off.
Yeah. Yeah. So like they don't need him there. Like if they were gonna bring a chemical weapons guy on, like what they should have done is like they know that Hummel has done something to alter the VX gas to turn it into something else, and we need you to figure out what they did.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or
That
when
would've
you like inject something into these balls that makes it, I don't know, not bad.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Something like that. Yeah.
We need to neutralize the gas.
Right.
Something biochemical, not just smashing computer chips on the ground with your heel.
Yes.
It's still great though. And then one more thing about the plot that's aged well, just like the mantra of us disrespecting our army guys when they come home, because clearly that was the case in 1996 and still the case now. So
That's a good point.
Good one.
The score we have not talked about. We talked about it briefly, but it's one of Hans's finest jobs as a conductor and a composer. It's got the great slow hum. It's got the great fast notes. And then I love particularly the Scottish like twists that it gives when Connery has his scenes with the little like flute or whatever.
Yeah. Right over the top of it. It's great.
Yeah.
And I think this is my favorite, even more so than Inception. I think this is my favorite action movie score.
Yeah,
it
might be for mine too.
I don't count Dunkirk as an action movie. I think that's a whole other thing in itself. Like it's different. But the fact that like if anyone is like, can you name like the theme or like sing or hum the theme from Die Hard? Like not.
No, you can't. You can't. Yeah, it's really good.
It's so good. I think it's really recognizable. It still holds up. It's awesome. It moves everything along. It's great.
Hans.
We're talking about Hans, Mark, and how just this is my favorite action movie score. We've done two back-to-back movies with two of my favorite scores.
Yeah, this is our second Hans movie too. He did a League of Their Own, right?
Yep.
For me, with Hans, it's either this or Gladiator, I think, and this probably takes the cake. But Gladiator is a very good score too.
Mm-hmm.
Different.
This is like the John Williams versus Hans Zimmer argument, where we're having the John Williams, like Hans Zimmer is doing the John Williams in this movie, and he's doing Hans Zimmer in Gladiator, right? It's this is more like melodic theme based, and Gladiator is more, ambient.
Also aged the best. I wrote down just Alcatraz. Just a great place to set an action movie. Apparently it was like the first half of the filming of the movie, it was still open for tours. So like people were actually there when they were filming. Then by the second half of the movie, the federal government had shut that down. I think it's still shut down to this day. I don't think you can go there anymore. But pretty funny that was like still open for like tourism at the time, and they wouldn't give them the right to shut down the island. They were like, no, you have to work around it.
Do you guys know the history of Alcatraz? I actually don't.
Yeah.
What was it actually used for? I actually am not familiar.
It was a prison.
It was like the unescapable prison. It was where it was like, like all the supermax prisons that they have all over the country now, where it's like impossible to escape. Like Alcatraz is the inspiration for escape plan. With Stallone. But like it was the unescapable prison, because even if you made it out of the prison, the theory was no one's making that swim in the cold Pacific Ocean for I think it's like 2 miles or something like that. Even if you made it out of the prison, there's no way you were getting off the island. So it was where it was like the place where they sent you to lose all hope, because it was impossible to escape.
Got it.
Yeah. Debatable whether Connery, even in his younger days, could swim to shore. Probably not.
That's the most unanswerable question.
Well, I guess when he escaped, he didn't have any gear, but I guess in the movie he has scuba gear, right? He has access.
No, I'm talking about like in his prison day when he makes the prison break.
Yeah, okay.
Supposedly that's how he gets off the island. He says, he swam off.
Yeah.
So.
And he says at the end of the movie, like, the last time I made the swim, I was your age.
Yeah.
That's why he comes back.
What else do I have? I have Connery swearing as which age the best. I just really enjoy it. Like the way he says "fuck" and "fucking" is great in his accent, because you're just not expecting it from him. You fucking idiot.
That's a good Connery.
That is a good Connery.
Yeah, I like when he says he wants a haircut and the feel of a good suit. I just like. I know exactly what he's talking about. Like he wants to put on a fucking suit.
That's hilarious.
And then the last thing I wrote down, what's age the best, was just Vanessa Marcel and Claire Forlani. I'm a big fan of both of them.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
What
else is Vanessa in?
Vanessa was mostly a soap star, but she had a nice arc on 90210 that she's very attractive on.
Yeah.
And Forlani's always been an underachiever, but she's been in some good stuff here and there.
I don't know if it's the way that Bay writes female characters or her, but I think her entire role is just unintentionally funny.
It kind of is.
The dialogue isn't great. I'm just talking about the way they look is what's aged well, not their characters.
He's always been able to light and make up people to look amazing on screen.
Yes, he does. Do you guys have any other what's aged the best?
I only have one.
Same. Yeah, I have one. Go ahead, Andy.
Grappling guns and grappling hooks never get old for me. In the first scene where they fire those grappling hooks into the side of that tower and fly across on the ropes, it's going to get me every time.
And you really love that opening scene.
Yeah, geez. Yeah.
It's got everything that you need.
Sneaking around, chemical weapons, henchmen getting darted. It's awesome.
That's good. I just had Ed Harris. I feel like he's just permanently 50 years old.
Yeah.
Just in every film he's in, he always looks the same. So I thought he aged well.
He's still.
I think that's the case for bald actors. I guess once you're bald at a young age, you kind of just look the same for the rest of your life.
I saw him in To Kill a Mockingbird on Broadway last season. And
how was he?
He was amazing. Absolutely amazing. He looks really old though.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah. No, I mean he's in Westworld now, and he looks pretty old on that show too. But he's still a badass, and he's still
Okay.
He's still Ed. What's age the worst? I don't have a lot. I just have a few. One, I thought the feel of a good suit aged the best. So from the same scene, the line about Seattle grunge does not age well. For Cage, that's just a brief one. Hummel's wife's grave, it just has her name and in quotations, his wife. I would like to think that her life had a little bit more meaning than just being Hummel's wife.
Did not catch that. That's a good one.
That was my
and
number one.
they just wanted to, like, I get it. They wanted to explain to you that this was Ed Harris's wife, but like they could have added a few more words.
Yeah,
about her life.
that's weird.
It literally just says his wife, Julia Hummel, the years. That's it.
48 when she died, and she was married to this guy. That's all it says.
That's funny.
Yeah.
That's not flying in 2020.
Yeah. And then Cage's apartment, Goodspeed's apartment, is like totally bizarre. Like, it looks like he's like living in a clock tower. Like, the outdoor area has all those weird lights. Like, the inside of the apartment doesn't make any sense. I don't know what like they were going for there, because he's just like a nerd. So you would think it would be like some clean, put together something. It does not match his character at all.
It looks like a penthouse, right? Like, how is this FBI guy or cop, like, how is that possible when he's got the penthouse?
It's
You know what it
bizarre.
looks like? It looks like Nick Cage's actual apartment.
yeah, it's true.
Like, where's Nicolas Cage living right now? It's that place.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god! Did you say it looks
Probably
like the inside of a guitar? Is that what you said?
No, I was saying like just like he has the shot of him naked with the guitar. I guess he insisted upon that shot, like, because he wanted. Apparently, he got in shape, so he told Michael Bay he wanted to have like a nude scene, and Bay wasn't having it. So he was like, "I'll give you this guitar scene where you're like naked playing the guitar to like show off your chest." I don't know.
Great. Wow.
The conversations the two of them must have had, it must have been incredible.
Oh my god!
It's just a general
So much
Hollywood
cocaine.
question. This is a general Hollywood question, but does any actor actually approach the director and say, "I want to be naked," or is it we'll pay you X number of dollars if you show your boobs or show your ass, or in Ben Affleck's case in Gone Girl, like side dick, like.
Yeah,
I assume some actors.
I assume some
right?
males would like to show off their muscles, right?
Probably females too, like want to show more skin, right?
I don't
sell it.
How I just
not go full nude,
mechanics
but
of that.
just
Like,
sell themselves.
Yeah.
I'm assuming.
Yeah. Everybody, I'm sure there's plenty. The actors who aren't good definitely want to show off stuff, right?
Yeah. Maybe, I don't know.
I don't know how this works.
Yeah.
I'd like to be the guy that makes those decisions, though. I'll tell you that.
That shot also did not age well. Just him sitting naked playing the guitar, like totally unnecessary.
That's a good.
So if he's that into the Beatles, you'd think he'd be a little better at playing the actual guitar. He's just like.
Yeah.
I have that for what is the worst is Nick Cage ordering a Beatles record because it sounds better.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't have any other things for age the worst. Mine are all small little things. So I'm out.
We already covered it. I had just had all the racial stereotyping and the gender and sexual orientation stereotyping is really, really bad. Yeah.
And the females don't have a lot to say in the movie either. Yes.
No. Oh, I mean, yeah. Well, this is more of a nitpick, but we can talk about nitpicks later. But I got a lot of nitpick problems with how his fiance is written.
Yeah,
it's her fault. It's all Michael Bay's fault, and probably Aaron Sorkin too, because he's terrible at writing female characters.
I have one more for which is the worst is the FBI's negotiation tactics. I mean, their plan is initially to send in when they're talking to Sean Connery about how we're going to use you to get in the Rock. Initially, they send in William Forsythe, who's a total dick, strong arms him, and then Womack, the chief of the FBI, on a whim's like, all right, that didn't work. So how about you, Nick Cage? How about you go in? Like, it just no thought out process to this negotiation. It's just such a disaster. Very disappointing if that's how the
and
FBI
their plans in general are bad. Like their initial plan is to not use Connery to go in, just to like look at blueprints and tell them what to do.
Yeah. It's not dynamic thinking.
They sit around the table saying how it'd be impossible to just blow up the island, and then that's what they end up doing anyway.
Right?
Why didn't they just send the jets in to begin with if they were this worried? I guess they wanted to save the tourists. They wanted to save the hostages. But yeah.
Disappointing, though, not the least.
Casting what ifs, I'm going to mix into a category. We're just going to do some quick what ifs because there's not a lot. And then I just want to talk about all the characters in general, just to run down them all because it's amazing. The only real casting what if I saw was that Arnold Schwarzenegger was in the running for both roles.
Both? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I saw he's in for Cage.
I got a hard time believing Arnold is a biochemical weapons expert.
Hey, he plays a scientist in Junior.
Yeah. Exactly.
Did you guys find it hard to do internet research just because The Rock is a wrestler?
Yes.
It's very
really
famous
hard.
actor. Okay.
Yeah, it's really hard to find stuff on it.
Yeah.
Arnold does say he regrets not taking the role. If it somehow ended up being Arnold and Cage, I think that would have shattered the unintentional comedy scale. The two of them doing a buddy movie together.
Yeah, that's a good point. It would have been terrible because you have Cage who's off the rails and Connery's poised and grounded and good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's better that Arnold wasn't involved in this at all. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. Maybe as a henchman. Maybe as the Rocket Man.
Yeah. What's funny is that Arnold was offered this role as Stanley Goodspeed, and then he was also considered for Cage's role in Face Off with Sylvester Stallone playing the Travolta role. So, like, two massive what ifs in a good way. I think the way it turned out in both of the cases.
I mean, Stallone versus Schwarzenegger in Face Off would have been fucking awesome.
That would have been.
Well, just seeing the two of them try and talk like each other, like or whatever, like alone would have been amazing. Some other casting notes. The original name of Cage's character was Bill Goodspeed, and Nick changed it to Stanley, which I think is just a much better name.
Stanley Goodspeed. Good name.
It's a really good lead character name. Cage and Ed Harris would reunite as the hero villain in National Treasure: Book of Secrets. So they go back a long way as well. So that's all I could really find. So just the cast overall. We know we have the big three with Cage, Connery, and Harris. The good guys, you get John Spencer as FBI Director Womack. He's famous for The West Wing. He's amazing.
He's also in the Negotiator.
Yes, he is.
Spencer's unbelievable. He's everything he. Yeah. Love that guy. He's amazing.
His voice is just like the gravelly part of his voice.
Smoker, such a
smoker. Other good guys, you get Michael Forsythe, as we've talked about. He's pretty much in every single bad 90s movie that there is. It's very hard to even find good things that he's in, and he's awful in this movie. He's just not good. He's so over the top.
Well, you got a little left in your pencil.
Yeah. A little lead left in your pencil. God. Every bad one-liner from a cop comes from him in this movie, and they're all terrible. Michael Biehn, we touched on already. He's a good guy. Danny Nucci, who I mentioned in the open with his ridiculous line. He's Fabrizio from Titanic. He's also in Crimson Tide. He's in Alive. He had a great run in the 90s. And then off to the side is the bald guy, Greg Collins, who was always just kind of like observing things. He basically plays a background FBI guy in this, Independence Day, and Armageddon, just as like that guy.
Yep. He plays. I think he's the same guy in Armageddon and
just about.
And this.
Also a good guy. The president is the same president as Armageddon, so he does back-to-back movies as president for Michael Bay.
I didn't catch that.
In the Armageddon rewatchables, I think Jake Serrano said something about, I have a rule that if you're going to make a bad action movie, that the president, no matter like what era you're talking about, the president has to be the same if it's the same timeline.
Yeah.
So
That's funny.
Anytime you make an action movie in that time, you have to have the same guy play the president. That's amazing.
Okay.
To do it in two movies and be anonymous, like I had no idea who that guy was.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Because you only see like his eye, you basically see like a close up of his face.
Yes.
That's all.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
He's uncredited in this movie. It's not even listed on his page. The haircut guy is Anthony Clark, who starred in Boston Common and Yes, Dear. It's a pretty successful sitcom actor of the time, too. Cage's coworkers in the beginning. The guy who's with him in the chamber who, like, does the doll thing. Say hi, Stan, and then it goes off. That guy's name is Todd Luoso. He's from High Fidelity. He works in the shop with John Cusack. The guy who's on the outside of them speaking into the speaker, this is a pull for me, is David Bowe, who was Donald Martin's rapist in 90210 and had a great arc on that show as a villain. He's a very distinctive face just because I only picture him as a rapist. Because he's always just like a rapist.
He'd be a good rapist.
Yeah. And then random one before we get to the bad guys. Oh, I forgot Philip Baker Hall. Obviously, Bookman. Bookman makes an appearance.
He's
just has one scene.
Chief Justice. Yeah.
He's that guy.
President's name is Stanley Anderson, and the president, by the way, played Judge Vandelay in the Seinfeld finale.
Oh, wow.
So two
That's
Seinfeld
good.
connections right there.
That's good. Yeah.
The black woman in the jail cell is the prostitute from Borat. Her name is Lunel. She's also in a whole bunch of other stuff.
Also horrible stereotype.
Yes. The bad guys, then you get David Morse, who's like his right-hand man.
Wait, we forgot one on the good guy side. Xander Berkeley is in the chamber. He's also a scientist.
I couldn't figure out who that was.
It was Xander Berkeley. He was the bad guy for the the traitor from Air Force One.
Oh, okay.
Also been in he was in Terminator 2. Oh, yeah, he was in Terminator 2.
You're right. He's in Terminator 2.
Yeah, he's been in a bunch of stuff. Always he's playing the same. This was the time he's playing a scientist. But yeah. They're all uncredited. Phil Baker Hall.
I know.
And also, you're going for the bad guys. All right. Well,
we haven't gotten to the bad. I had the bad guys only as 4. You probably have more, but David Morse is the right hand man. He's Green Mile, Contact, Hurt Locker, that movie with Shia LaBeouf that I always watch where he lives next door to him.
And Stuart Wilson,
also
who's General Kramer.
Yes, also in The Negotiator.
Everything.
Yeah. John C. McGinley, obviously, touched on The Office, and Office Space and Scrubs. Tony Todd, Candyman, and then Gregory Sporlander, who's the guy who really takes over at the end. He's from Twister, and he's also in Renaissance Man.
He was also the guy with a crush on Kit Keller at the beginning.
Yeah, in A League of Their Own.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right. Just we've already reeled off 20 people who are pretty well known for the 90s. It's amazing how many people got to be in this movie. I don't know I didn't know any of the other bad guys. I know there's a couple.
I have one more.
I couldn't really place them.
I have one more. I don't know if he maybe had one line in the movie, but I just recognized him and I looked it up after. His name is Raymond Cruz. He's credited as Sergeant Rojas, and he was also in Training Day. And he's the guy who's like, I had my shit pushed in. Have you ever had your shit pushed in?
Yeah, he's
Training Day.
It's Tuco Salamanca from Breaking Bad.
Oh yeah,
you're right.
It's
Tuco. Yeah. Wow.
Tuco.
Yeah, he's briefly in it, but that's all I had.
And a couple of the other bad guys are in stuff too. There's just not enough stuff to make them stand out amongst this group. Just one of the most ridiculous casts of all time.
It's a great typecast crew movie.
Oh yeah.
Can we rank the bad guys from a bad guy power ranking?
Yeah.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
I'm taking. Should we?
Who is
who's the
worst
top
bad
pick?
guy?
No,
Who's the worst?
Who do you want on? If you gotta take over an aisle, or you gotta do the same thing again, who are you taking first?
I'm still taking Hummel first.
I'm taking Ed Harris. Yeah.
I'm not.
Taking David Morse.
I'm taking Captain Fry. That guy's a crazy motherfucker.
Oh.
That's Sporlander.
Yeah, Sporlander. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but
he's just like irrational.
No one would follow that guy. He's only good at mutinies.
Well, I'm running the show. They're
Oh,
following.
okay. You're running the show. All right. Okay. I see how you're doing it now. Well, then then he's probably my top pick too. I mean, McGinley's down low. He doesn't do very well. He loses. He loses Cage and Connery, and then he gets lit on fire, and that's it for him. But he does invent the motion sensor, which sets off a huge chain of events. So,
Can we talk
his
about
description of that? I still don't even understand what he's talking about. Like, it's just a fucking motion sensor. He like makes it seem like it's the most elaborate thing he's ever done.
custom made?
I think there's an argument for David Morris as the first pick.
I love David Morris. He's a great bad guy face.
He's a rational guy. He just, I don't know. Yeah.
He's like, he reminds me a little bit of Will Patton.
Yeah.
Like you could interchange those two guys. Like really nice guy. Like they could play really nice guys. They could be like on the sympathetic side of bad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Totally.
Also really good number twos. Like Will Patton and David Morris. Exactly. The lead guy.
Yeah. Yeah. McGinley and Tony Todd are at the bottom. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Tony Todd's my number 3 pick. Behind Raymond Cruz.
Todd's definitely imposing, and he just like the Candyman face still scares me to this day. Every time I see him, I just like the Candyman. You know, like
you have to.
He's terrifying. One of the best
things I read on all the internet research I did for this was at sundown on the day that Hummel's plan goes awry, they fly the Candyman flag at half-mast.
Oh,
way down
the
That's awesome.
Oh my God.
I love little shit like that.
Yeah.
They're bringing the Candyman back, by the way. Jordan Peele's bringing it back.
Who's going to play Candyman?
Tony Todd.
That's amazing.
Wow.
I mean, they've made like 5 of them, but it's coming back. I think Peele's just the executive producer, and then it's a female director who's doing it. But I saw the preview for it just before COVID happened. It looks good.
Amazing.
I think we touched on everybody there. I don't know if you guys read about this on Wikipedia. There was a huge like Iraqi chemical weapons controversy involving this movie where, long story short, like a fake British intelligence report was circulated where the person just like saw this movie and like put it in a report.
Wow. I saw the headlines. I didn't actually read the article. I didn't.
Wow.
It said British Secret Intelligence Service was led to believe that Saddam Hussein was continuing to produce weapons of mass destruction by a false agent who based his reports on this movie. Like, what?
Are you sure it wasn't? Are you sure it wasn't based off the microfilm file that was in the front row right to you?
However, like, questions were finally raised about the agent's claims when it was noticed his description bore a striking resemblance to a scene from the film. It was pointed out that glass containers are not typically used in chemical munitions, and that popular movie The Rock had inaccurately depicted nerve agents being carried in glass beads.
Yeah, because the M80 that they put at the front of the rocket is going to do the job on a stronger case.
And they like almost invaded Iraq. British intelligence like looking for these particular
holy shit
weapons.
Jesus,
it's crazy.
I gotta say, like, given everything we've gone through the last few months, and after watching this movie, like, why isn't biological warfare more of a thing? Or do you think like it's so easy?
I think
to
the threat is out there. We just do a really good job, like protecting ourselves.
So easy to actually pull it off, though, in practice.
The consequences would be nuclear, right? That's kind of.
I guess, yeah. I don't know. It's hard to prevent.
Yeah.
But anyways.
That's going to be a darker conversation when we're together.
Yeah, let's move along. Half-ass into research. I've talked about a lot of it. Script was mostly serious. Cage added the humor. It's Michael Bay's favorite movie that he's ever done. It's also Connery's favorite 90s movie. With Entrapment coming in second. Don Simpson, the late Don Simpson, created the Hummel character after watching a 60-minute segment on underappreciated troops returning home.
This is great.
Connery stood up Connery stood up for Michael Bay to get the studio execs off his back at some meeting, which was very famous. I guess they didn't like the scene. They didn't want to pay for the underwater filming of all the Navy SEALs, and then they also wanted to move the movie from Alcatraz to L.A. And to quote Michael Bay, he said, "I got to shoot on this island because the island is so fucking bitchin'."
Yes.
Love that.
He walked off the movie. They slapped him with a $60 million lawsuit. Eventually, cooler heads prevailed.
I wonder to whom he said the island is so fucking bitchin'. I wonder to whom he said that and what time of day it was when that quote came out.
Yeah, I would love to know.
4 in the morning, coming out of a club.
Yeah.
Speaking of the island, Sean Connery insisted the producers build him a cabin on Alcatraz so he did not need to travel from the mainland every day, and they did.
What did that thing look like?
What else? Is that real? I read that too.
They probably just dropped the fucking movie trailer, right? They just took one over by boat and put a movie trailer down. It wasn't right. That's the easiest explanation, right?
That makes sense.
Yeah, that's probably right.
Because I now want to know what else was in that cabin. Like, man.
Whoever told the story shouldn't have used the word cabin.
Cabin.
Yeah.
You touched on it that Ed Harris hates Michael Bay's tight shots of his face because he claims he acts with his whole body at all times. And Michael Bay likes to use just faces for most of the time.
He was complaining too to somebody who's like, he'll shoot you from straight on, he'll shoot you from the side, he'll shoot you from below, he'll shoot you from above. Yeah. Which is evident in every shot in this movie of him.
Isn't Ed Harris too like a shorter guy? Like, wouldn't it have looked maybe weird in some of those scenes, perhaps, if he did a full shot?
Maybe, but if he's on his own, he's just like, so many of the shots are just like not even his full face. It's just like his eyes and nose.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. One of the close-ups.
Too close, man.
We actually talked about this. So the boilers thing with the fire and the gears, Michael Bay actually admitted, saying there's a major flaw in this movie. Like, there's no reason for those things to still be working when the island hadn't been operational. But he answered his own question seconds later, saying, "Screw it, it's entertaining, don't you think?"
I didn't even think about that. So
maybe the most self-aware statement he's ever made.
Yeah. Seriously. Good point.
And then the other half-assed research I have was the official body count for the movie is 25.
Wow, that's it. That's all the damage from that chase scene. Only 25 people.
No, it's mostly dead military guys in the shower.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
Do we count the people who were driving the FBI vehicles that blew up?
I guess.
Or not see that.
I don't know.
Because I think it's like a team of 15 or something like that goes to the.
Yeah.
Because all the guys in the beginning are darted.
Yeah, they're darted.
You're right.
Yeah.
Okay.
You have fucking dart in your neck.
You're gonna hurt your neck.
Nominated for Best Sound Mixing at the Academy Awards. Won Best On-Screen Duo at the MTV Movie Awards, Cage and Connery. So that's a nice
Makes
win.
sense. Yeah.
You got a couple Moon Mans right there.
So Tom Cruise and Kittredge didn't win for Mission Impossible. Kittredge, you've seen me very upset.
I mean, maybe you could have given it to Will Smith and Jeff Goldblum. But Connery and Cage, I think, are better.
Yeah. Okay.
They're together for more of the movie. Smith and Goldblum are really only together in the alien spaceship.
Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah.
They converge. Oh, interesting. The fat lady. I don't know how to choose the That Guy award. We've already talked about all the That Guys, so I think that award's just out.
Yeah,
the whole movie is That Guys. Like, it's just one giant That Guy.
We've already covered it. I got a few more half-assed internet researches.
Oh, okay. Bring them on.
Tony Scott was supposed to direct this originally.
Oh.
I think this is a way better movie if Tony Scott directs it.
No.
It's a different movie.
No.
Yeah.
You need, sometimes I think with the 3 actors that are involved, it would have been like, this movie needs to be over the top, I think. The actors have the ability. The three serious actors like that have the ability to ground such ridiculousn's.
I think you get a little more of a gray area and a backstory with Hummel with Tony Scott.
Probably.
You get the same Connery. He's not fucking with Connery. But I think you get fewer explosions and you get more dialogue around, like, I think VX becomes a bigger character. I think it's more well explained, and I think you get a better Nick Cage than you do with Michael Bay. But that's just my opinion. I would have liked
maybe. I don't think it's a more rewatchable movie. I don't know. There's something about this peak Michael K with this and Bad Boys that I will stand.
Don't you think you get less comedy too if it's Tony Scott?
Totally. He's not going to let Cage just riff constantly and make
which might be the right decision. I don't know.
Yeah, no, his character is too boring.
Movie.
I think. I don't know.
Oh, I don't know. That's a good question.
It is. That is.
We'll never know.
I would have preferred Tony Scott just because I think Michael Bay is a crazy person, but
he is crazy. Yeah.
This is right before he goes crazy. Right before.
The average
Rod's gave him 3.5.
It's true. He gave The Godfather 3 initially. So the average shot length is only 2.5 seconds. The average shot length, which is just insane.
That is great.
And Connery, going along with like Connery was really demanding. He didn't want to get in the water for any of these scenes. And the ones where they go down, where the bombs are being thrown down at him, this mother's gonna blow big. When they throw it down on him, he didn't want to get underwater for any of this, so he made the film crew raise the temperature in the water to 90 degrees Fahrenheit.
Oh, Jesus.
And apparently within a matter of like 7 hours, like 10 crew members all got the stomach flu within that same time frame. So like they're like, we gotta stop this. This is just a giant petri dish.
Oh my God.
Oh, because they were heating up like that gross water.
And it was the bacteria was multiplying.
That's good. So That Guy award is out. The whole movie is That Guy. Overacting, they knew. This one's really tough to narrow it down. You got to pick one. I have two finalists. It's either, for me, it's Forsythe or Tony Todd.
Do you have a specific scene that you chose for their
Tony Todd when the missiles go awry? It's just completely losing his shit. No, with Hummel, where he's like, "Why are the rockets? Why did they miss? Why did they miss?"
Yeah. That's
he
a good one.
He cannot understand that like Ed Harris just like pressed a button and that they turned him out to sea. He's like completely losing his shit. Captain, what the hell is going on? And Forsythe just the whole movie he's overacting. Every line he delivers is just too much.
What does Tony Todd say at like his last line before he like everybody breaks in or the standoff happens? Like everything he goes so over the top and then calms himself down and sir, everyone, and I can't remember the lines, but one of the last ones is fucking amazing. It's so good. Damn it, I can't
remember the line.
I'm relieving you of your
That's
duty.
a good one.
And he's like, "Do you like Rocket Man by Elton John?" He's like, "I don't like that soft shit."
And he asks him, Cage goes, "You know how this shit works with the string of pearls?" He goes, "You know how this shit works?"
Yeah.
Pulls out a giant knife.
Yeah, I think Tony Todd's my winner.
That's a good one.
Can I put an honorable mention in for Linnell?
Yeah, Linnell. Does she have any lines?
Yeah, she's got two. Like, does anybody have a gun? I got a gun. If I'd have known this was going to happen, I would have brought my motherfucking gun. Just yelling from the jail cell.
What kind? And then the guy she's with. What kind of fucked up tour is this?
What kind of fucked up tour is this?
I don't think any of their bad guys really are over the top, to be honest.
I take pleasure in gutting you, boy.
I wrote down when Nick Cage shoots the guy who's choking Sean Connery, but I actually can't remember what he says in that scene. But I just remember thinking he was overacting in that scene. When he,
It's hard to tell when Nick Cage is overacting
exactly,
or just
yeah.
he's like an enigma to figure out, right?
I think every Cage movie you do, you've got to give the overacting award as like who's the next person down.
Yeah.
It's true.
So like the Irish Marine too, when he's beating up Sean Connery.
Oh
like,
yeah, he's like, I'm from
yeah.
He's Irish. Like that guy's going for it. All the bad guys are really.
Yeah, they're going for it.
Yeah.
Except for David Morse. David Morse is grounded.
No, he's grounded.
Yeah.
He's great. He's great. He's the
Dude,
and Kyle
so rational.
and Michael Bain really brings it. He's really excited to be in the movie.
He's actually overacting nominee.
Apparently,
honorable mention.
He apparently so a lot of the Marines or a lot of the SEALs that were on set were real SEAls.
Yeah.
And Bain felt really uncomfortable because he's been like an acting commander of like a military battalion his entire career, but this is the one where he was like freezing up on set. Like he couldn't actually get the lines out because he felt uncomfortable doing this in front of other Marine or other SEAls. Thought that was pretty.
Wow.
That is, wow.
Spilled the same
blood.
Right,
so
I'll give it to Tony Todd. Yeah.
We'll give it to Tony Todd.
Tony.
The Heat Check Award, I'm going haircut guy or trolley guy.
Yeah, I had trolley guy.
I'm going trolley.
I think you have to. I think you have to, right?
Yeah.
That motherfucker ain't safe nowhere. It's so good.
Yeah, but I do think Sporlander really, because Sporlander doesn't have a line until like the very end, and then he becomes a very key part of the movie all of a sudden.
Oh, yeah.
And I think his heat check just to take over is pretty strong.
That's fair.
The hour is at hand. We're cock, lock, and ready to rock, sir.
Yeah. Picking nits, we've picked a lot of them already. The Rockets themselves, my main thing with them that we haven't mentioned is why were they all just unattended? You'd think if you have this many bad guys, you would at least station one person by each rocket at all times. Seems.
I'm in with
the
that.
Basics. Yeah.
$1 million each. Is that enough to never return to the USA ever again? Is that enough to live off the rest of your life somewhere else?
I had that on my list.
I do not think so.
For soldiers, probably in 1996.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Those are the only nits I picked.
I feel like it's also really lazy. It's just like, let's pick a number. We'll make it
if it was 10 million, that's a little bit more believable to me.
Also, but Ed Harris is asking for 100 million, and then he doesn't have 100 guys. So how much is Hummel taking? 50?
So let's say
he's paying it out to the.
He's paying it out. He's paying
members
it out.
of
That's
the
right.
families. Yeah,
that's right. I forgot about that. Okay, all right. So $1 million seems fair.
So what? He's got 30 guys, so he gives them 30 million, and he's splitting 70 between him and the families, pretty much.
Yeah. You could have asked for way more too.
Yeah.
I do enjoy the fact that he asked for like a reasonable amount.
But what if because he's not asking for like taxpayer money, right?
Yeah, it's slush fund money.
Like how much is in the Red Sea trading
FBI
bank?
fund.
He probably understands that and knows that. Probably asking for like the full value of the illegal arms trade.
You got to over.
That's unanswerable. Is how much? Yeah.
I don't know.
All right.
I'll let you guys pick your nits.
Yeah, I got some. Yeah. Go ahead.
Mark always has nits to pick. Always.
Andy does too. Yeah. Go ahead, Andy.
Oh. Did the plan that Hummel had to tell the schoolgirls to get their teachers to get back on the boat and go home immediately actually fucking work?
No, it did not. Did not work at all.
They all got out there the same way. Like 10-year-olds going up to their school teachers like, that man said that we should leave now. Like, okay, let's take the kid.
That's good. That's good.
I understand, like he can't have the kids on the island because it's school teachers and children as hostages, but there's
Yeah.
be a better, like, pick a better tour where you know,
Yeah.
like, where you got the ticket.
I like that. All right, I'll start off easy. In the chase scene, and we kind of touched on it earlier, where Nick Cage is going after Sean Connery, and they go through, I guess it's like a kitchen where they see the Japanese chef.
Yeah.
They both go down the up escalator and knock like all these. It just pisses me off that they both go down the up version of the escalator when there's stairs right on the other side. It just pisses me off. It's such a stupid little thing, but it's just a nit I gotta pick. There's stairs right there. They could go down the stairs. They both go down the up escalator and knock over these
That's a good one.
people.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
This one also kind of cuts me deep because every time I'm in any situation with Jessie and there's stairs or an escalator, I'm constantly taking the escalator and she's constantly taking the stairs.
There you go.
Get the workout in. I'm like, there's just an easier way to do this, man.
Yeah. Fuck you.
Yeah.
That
school teacher one's good. Both of those are good. I never look for stuff in movies like that, like you guys do. So I'm glad you're there to pick the nits. I just accept them for what they are and move along.
We already covered why the fuck would Womack send Goodspeed in to talk to the most dangerous man on earth.
Yeah.
But another thing from that scene, why the fuck would they mention Mason having a lawyer at all? They've kept him without trial for 30 years.
Yeah.
Going back to jail. He's like, I don't have a fucking lawyer.
Yeah.
Dumb. Dumb.
Yeah.
Well, related to that, I was saying, you're Sean Connery. You've been locked up for 30 years unlawfully. You hate the U.S. government. You're just kind of maybe getting out, and you're talking to the FBI, and they're saying, okay, you can go to the Rock and help us out. Aren't you either immediately disappearing or killing everybody in sight, like once you're kind of a little bit free?
But I do think they ground him with his daughter. He doesn't want his daughter to die.
But
okay,
he
so you
doesn't
think
find that out.
That's hanging over the head.
He doesn't find that out until after all the SEALs get killed.
Yeah.
They don't tell him that there's gas until they're like open, until they're in the morgue picking it up.
Yeah, you're
I just think you got to have so much hatred in that situation. You've been locked up for 30 years. Aren't you just fucking just killing everybody in that situation, or just disappearing? One of the two.
One. Well, he tried the first time in the
He tried
didn't
He
work.
didn't really try though. He went to see his daughter.
He knew he was going to get caught almost. Yeah. He did that knowing he was going to. He just wanted to go see his daughter, and then he was going to get caught.
That's true. Yeah. What the fuck is thermite plasma?
Yeah, I don't know.
It's a good nitpick. It sounds intellectually.
It sounds like it's something that could stop VX gas. That's all I know.
Yeah.
Also, they make the mention that VX gas happened accidentally, right? Because Cage makes the parallel to champagne.
Yeah.
Discovered accidentally, and then in the briefing room, they're like, "What about napalm? Or what's our countermeasure?" It's like, we know of your countermeasure. We know it's not going to work in this situation. Yeah. And one of the generals is like, VX gas was designed specifically to withstand napalm. Like, I thought you motherfuckers discovered this by accident. Like, how did you?
Yeah.
It's designed to withstand napalm. You're just making this up now.
Yeah. That stuff's being written on the fly, I feel like.
By sort.
Yeah.
Also on cocaine.
Yeah.
Michael Bay.
Sounds right. That's good. So when the bombers are about to bomb the island, why is Carla sitting or standing in the control room with all the FBI directors like watching this happen? Like, why is she given that access?
That's just a classic action movie thing. It happens in Independence Day with Randy Quaid's family. Like,
I gotta call it out.
it's literally in every single action movie of all time. The family or the girlfriend is always somehow in that control room.
And like, if she's there, why is Michael Baine's girlfriend not there with him too?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All the girlfriends, all the wives.
Makes zero sense. Okay.
I have another Carla related one. Why does Carla get really mad and super defiant? Like, oh hell, I'm not coming now. When her chemical weapons expert fiance tells her not to go to San Francisco when he's on business in San Francisco.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck do you think this could have been?
Yeah. Yeah.
Fair question.
And Mark, do you have any more?
I'm out. Yeah, go ahead.
Real quick, let's Captain Fry goes, "Let's be all we can be." That's an army trope. That's not a Marines trope. They just fucked up the branches of the military. The fat Marine, when he's dropping the bomb, like the bigger bomb down the hole, he like turns a dial up on the side of the bomb.
Yeah.
Like, this mother's gonna blow big. Like, and what bomb can you, with a dial, increase the mass of the fuel that you have instead of the fucking bomb? Like, either that's gonna blow up or it's not gonna blow. There's no in between. You dumb.
Yeah.
This mother's gonna blow big. That really pissed me off the last time I watched it. And the last one, like, if Hummel really doesn't want any loss of life, why aren't all of the guns in the shower room shootout scene filled with the same darts that they used on the Navy guys at the beginning of the movie?
Oh, great
why
point.
are they kill all the Marines instead of just...
Well, the only thing I could say is that they were anticipating some sort of attack. They had to know that they were going to come for them.
Yeah.
But those darts seem to work instantly.
Right.
Yeah. But it's easier to use darts when you're the one on the attack as opposed to on the dude. You don't use darts in defense, right? Use them in sneak attacks. I do agree with you.
But
they could have just had rubber bullets, or
they were in a good position. They were high up and shooting down. I don't know. Yeah.
This is also where I learned that being covered from an elevated position is advantageous in a gunfight.
Yeah.
I also just had as a general comment for my picking nits is that Nicolas Cage probably should have died 10 different times just in the movie. I don't know if you guys agree.
He flies off the top of the lighthouse into the water at the end of the movie.
Yeah. I mean, not even just like the outrageous stuff, but like that. I don't know, that one guy who like drops down from the suspension from the bungee cord and it's like,
oh yeah,
his
just
face
like
is
hi,
upside down.
Hey sweetheart, Yeah,
just shot him. Like, I don't know.
I know. Well, no, but he does
just
say to him, "You're lucky Hummel wants you alive."
Right. I get it. Just I don't know. It's just a way to control him, I guess. But that's
why he's standing good speed. All
right. Godspeed, Godspell.
Best quote. I got a lot of them.
Oh yeah.
So why don't we cut the chit chat a-hole? I think that's my number one in the enteitire movie.
I almost got me killed twice, and my jaw hurts like hell.
It's either chit chat a-hole
not
or
cursing.
Yes. I'll take pleasure in gutting you, boy. Obviously, has lived on well past this movie.
Really good.
Look, I'm just a biochemist. Most of the time, I work in a little glass jar and lead a very uneventful life. I drive a Volvo, a beige one. But what I'm dealing with right here is the most deadly substance on Earth has ever known. So why don't you say you cut me some freaking slack?
Amazing.
There is nobody like Nick Cage.
There's no one. I drive a Volvo, comma, a beige one.
A beige one. None of this is written in. Like, none of this has the footprint of Michael Bay on it anywhere.
No.
If it's Michael Bay, it's like a 2.5 second.
Yep.
And then it's moving on to something else. This is all Cage.
Yeah. The line that Bay hated the most was "What in the name of Zeus's butthole?" that Cage ad-libbed and insisted that made the final cut of the movie.
I did insist it? I didn't know that. Wow.
He also says when Carla's on top of him, at one point he also says something like this weird like peach sorbet persuasion.
Yeah.
What are
He's
you?
also just going. He's also just going like naughty, naughty, naughty. Like,
Not
could you imagine filming a scene with him like that? That's what I was saying.
Yeah.
Like,
Kicking myself serious.
and then you like
broken a
to
rib,
think of the
like-
person in Face Off who has to just suck his tongue. Like, and then Connery has some good ones too. I like Good Speed, Godspell, whatever the fuck he says there is great.
Well, yeah.
I've been in jail longer than Nelson Mandela. What do you want me to do? Run for president?
Everything sounds so elegant the way he says it.
And his best line of the movie is, "Losers whine and say I did my best. Winners go home and fuck the prom queen."
So good. Carla
is the prom.
Yeah.
Really?
Really?
Really good.
There's like endless amounts of quotes, but those are just some of the ones that I jotted down in the heat of the moment.
Those are good.
Mark,
I just want to add one. I think we touched on it earlier. Is just, hey man, you just fucked up your Ferrari.
Yeah.
And then Nick
That's a
Cage
good one.
just gives us like death stare. It's not mine.
Yeah.
It's not mine.
It's not mine.
I had Tony Todd's. You know how this shit works. He's
Yeah.
fucking
It's a
so
good.
stupid.
You know what's that going to do against gas? It's so dumb. Oh god.
I also had one from Claire Forlani. When the cops pull up, she just is flabbergasted and goes, "You broke out of prison again, didn't you?" And one of my favorites is from obviously you touched on all of them. The Cut the Chit Chat A-hole is amazing, but Michael Baine's he's really confused and frustrated in that first briefing meeting when he's wearing his military uniform. He goes, "Alcatraz has been ripped up and rebuilt for years. Under there is a maze of shit."
Oh god, there's so many cocaine lines in this movie.
That's great. Oh, that's good.
Those are good. Unanswerable questions. We probably posed a million of them already. Whatever. The whole movie's a goddamn unanswerable question.
Yeah.
Why?
I got a couple. I'll throw you.
All right. Let's see what more you got.
Best movie set in San Francisco?
These kind of unanswerable questions. This is interesting.
Yeah. I'll tell you what I jotted down. I jotted down Mrs. Doubtfire, The Pursuit of Happiness is also in the running. I don't know. All right.
Any other action movies? Because I'm trying to think of action scenes going over the hills. That's
I googled it. I googled it quickly. 48 Hours. I actually I've never seen that. I know that was one of the top of the list. But The Game is also in San Francisco.
The Game's a good movie.
Oh yeah.
It's a good movie. I don't remember it being in San Francisco really, but anyways.
48 Hours is also in San Francisco, isn't it?
Yeah, you just said that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Sorry, missed it.
Yeah. And then the other unanswerable question I had is Ed Harris the most honorable bad guy in movie history? And I actually didn't have any other person that I would throw in the running. I actually thought he probably is.
Thanos.
Who?
Thanos from the Avengers, maybe. But he's not that honorable. I don't know. He kills people too for random reasons.
Like trillions of people.
Yeah. Well, no, but that he's doing with a good reason, so he thinks.
Yeah.
He's not honorable. You're right. He's not. Yeah. Ed Harris probably is.
It's a good one. I can't think off the top of my head who else would be doing.
I couldn't even Google one. I couldn't even find another one. I don't know. Anyways,
I'll throw the Maltese Falcon up there for best San Francisco movie too.
Oh, that's a good call.
It's a classic.
Yeah.
And was Vertigo San Francisco or was Vertigo LA?
thought it was L.A.
I think it was L.A.
Okay.
Now I'm trying to think of bad guys. I can blanking.
Good anti here.
Nothing.
Yeah. Apex Mountain. It's definitely Michael Bay's Apex Mountain. I don't.
Oh, really? You don't think Armageddon is?
I think this enables him to get Armageddon and do that ridiculous movie.
Yeah.
But you're right.
I thought after Armageddon, he's literally pick of the litter.
I think after Armageddon, people are kind of like,
Oh, you think it's a letdown?
like, I just think it was ridiculous, right? It's not a good movie.
Well, this is the movie that had just enough tempering of Michael Bay's craziness from Connery, the studio, the city of San Francisco, from all the pressure that they put on him. This has got to work, and he tempered down. There's still, you can see a lot of Armageddon in this movie, where it was all right, we didn't care enough about this shot or this scene to let you do all of it. And also, you've got Tarantino and Sorkin who are writing your dialogue. And then Armageddon is okay, The Rock made $300 million. Do whatever you want. And that's exactly what fucking happened.
Yeah. And then after Armageddon, they did let him make Pearl Harbor, which was a total bomb. Yeah. And then after that, he pretty much does Bad Boys and Transformers movies. And that's it. And Pain and Gain. 13 hours. Yeah, he just,
You guys
I
right.
think this is the peak. Yeah. This is the peak of his powers.
Yeah, I agree.
Because he also did Bad Boys the year before. So it's a really nice 1-2 punch.
Yeah. And it's this or Armageddon, and Armageddon is where he goes downhill.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because this movie's good and that movie's not.
Yeah.
I agree.
I don't know if anybody else. I mean, there's too many of the side characters. I wouldn't say for any of them. It's their Apex Mountain.
Would you put Cage? Or you don't think it's Cage yet?
Cage won an Oscar.
What did he win an Oscar for?
Leaving Las Vegas.
Yeah, and he was nominated for adaptation.
Okay.
I don't think this is before his.
He goes on a string of action movies. I think after this one, it's Con Air,
and
Gone in 60 Seconds, based off.
Yeah.
He's still taken pretty seriously by the time even up until National Treasure in 2004. I feel like he's still taken seriously.
Okay,
that's a good movie.
Yeah, no, it is. Yeah, I agree. Okay, that's fair.
It's not Harris. What's Ed Harris's Apex Mountain? I'd like to decide that. What do you think that is?
Let me pull that up.
It's in the running.
Truman Show.
It's hard to have an Apex when you've looked the same for 30 years.
It's true. I think when he was doing
Milk Money.
No.
Beautiful Mind. Yeah.
I don't know if he really had.
Maybe he doesn't have any Apex now. His whole career is just
close.
It's kind of all over the he's very
Steady Eddie.
He does
Steady Eddie.
Yeah.
I guess this might be the beginning of it with The Rock, Absolute Power, and Truman Show. But then
if someone says Ed Harris to you, what do you think of immediately?
I mean, I think of this, A Beautiful Mind, and West.
I think of the Abyss. That's the first movie that comes to mind for me.
Really? I go either Truman Show or Apollo 13 for me.
Those are
Truman Show. Truman Show too.
My next tier was Apollo 13 and Truman Show. He also plays.
He's also wearing a headset in both of those movies for most of the time.
Yeah, he's a good mission control. He's a good mission control guy. I also he's only in this.
Christoph.
But I fucking love him in Snowpiercer. If you guys have seen that.
Yep.
Christoph is one of the best character names for a movie. When he's in Truman Show, it's Christoph.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if he has an apex mountain. I don't think
he does. Maybe
I don't
that's
think
it.
he does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think if anything, this is it. It's
Yeah.
Rock,
Yeah.
Absolute Power, and the Truman Show
Yeah.
together. So this is like him almost peaking.
All right. That was a good sidebar on Ed Harris.
Yeah. I like that.
It's definitely not Connery. He was James Bond.
Right?
Yeah.
And then, who won the movie as we approach the 2-hour mark? Nice job by us.
Can we do Apex Mountain for Alcatraz?
Yeah. Escape from Alcatraz? No?
You don't think when it was like an actual prison? One of the most feared prisons on earth?
This is what I wanted to hear.
Yeah.
I don't ask these questions looking for the affirmative. I ask them.
Okay.
I want you guys to argue.
I mean, I think that I don't know if you guys have ever seen Escape from Alcatraz. I actually think that's a good movie. It's older, but so I don't know how it's aged. But I remember really enjoying that movie when I was younger.
It's still really cool every time you're like, I've only been out that area a few times, but just when you're driving on that highway by the airport, you can just see it out there. It's cool.
Very much so. Is this Apex Mountain for chemical weapons as part of the villain plot in a movie?
Ooh.
Or weapons in general? Is this the coolest weapon that's ever been used by a villain in a movie?
They're two different questions.
I want to just get to the bottom of this chemical weapons movie thing because I'm Googling most popular chemical warfare movies. Let's see. None of these movies.
Or biological. So like you've got Outbreak in there with Motaba. But I think this is better.
It's definitely better than Outbreak.
Yeah. V for Vendetta is up on the list.
But that already happened. St. Mary's Virus already happened by the time the movie started. It was already done and
fair.
dusted.
Yeah, I think it is. You're right. Definitely.
There are other like dirty bomb movies, like The Peacekeeper had a dirty bomb.
Isn't is Face Off have chemical weapons involved in that?
I
don't
can't
know.
remember.
A bomb. That was just a bomb, I think.
Just a bomb. Okay. And what's the other one with John Travolta and Halle Berry?
Oh, Swordfish?
Swordfish, is that? It's hard for me to
That was
remember.
a bank robbery.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's a good question, and I think this wins.
I think it might.
It's definitely my favorite. I like this.
Yeah.
This is a formidable foe, and this is like maybe one of the only times where Michael Bay's exclusive use of blue, orange, green, and yellow lighting like adds to the character because like higher naval weapon. I'm going back to the opening scene again. Like that, the naval weapons depot is just it's all blue lighting with the green the bulbs. It's like it's just a cool presence.
The only counter I can say is that like pretty much every season of 24 had some sort of chemical weapon.
Oh yeah,
about to be released.
That's not a movie though. Yeah.
I'd rather watch this movie than season of 24.
It's not good on a rewatch. All right, that is the Apex Mountain for chemical warfare, whatever you want to say it. Biological warfare, do we want to go with, or chemical warfare?
The only other like really good one that I can think of is Outbreak, right?
Yeah.
Biological warfare. There have been like some horror movies and like some virus movies, but
yeah.
All right. So, any more other Apexes out there?
Nope.
No more.
So
Aiden.
who won? Who won? This is tough for me.
Really? Not tough for me.
Not tough for me.
Connery?
No.
Harris?
No.
No.
The Rock? The Rock?
No.
I hope Andy and I are on the same page. I don't know that.
Like Michael Bay?
Cage wins.
Cage
Totally
wins.
wins. Totally wins. He cements himself as an action star.
This
After
is
this, he does Con Air, Face Off, Gone in 60. I mean, don't you think? I mean,
so.
All right.
This before. So
What's
he's
the prom
coming.
queen?
He's coming off of his Oscar victory, playing an alcoholic, right?
Mhm.
He's not blowing anything up in that movie at all, right? Not at all. You could also say that that Cage loses the movie because after this movie, he does nothing else than play crazy people, right? Like The Rock, Con Air, Face Off, City of Angels, Snake Eyes, 8mm, Gone in 60 Seconds, and then like everything else that he does that isn't playing an action hero doesn't do well. Like Adaptation, I guess he gets nominated, but nobody really watched that movie. Like then he does National Treasure, and then goes
Don't hate on those. Those are good. Both of them.
right. But that's what makes him money now. Is that
Yeah.
now he's the crazy, quirky, idiosyncratic action star, and
I
that's
guess I
all
just
that makes
it was
him
hard
money
for me
the
to
rest of his
say
career.
that. It was hard for me to say he won the movie when he's the third most enjoyable person in the movie for me.
Is he really the third most?
Yeah, Connery and Harris are better than
Yeah.
him.
He's funnier though. I mean, than Harris at least.
No, you're right. He can still win the movie. I just wasn't looking at
Yeah.
it the right way.
Yeah.
Wait, I think we slept on one of Cage's best lines of the whole film is when he's trying to convince when Forsyth is like, "Well, what do you got? A fucking water pistol?" And then he tries to convince him, and then he goes back on the radio like, "Mason, Goodspeed, what's the situation?" "Not good. He's got all the guns now, sir."
Yeah.
The second time.
He's really
asking
funny.
that.
He actually, I did wrote down in one of my notes that I forgot. I just wrote Nick Cage is legit hilarious in this movie.
He's hilarious. Yeah.
The good to go with the scuba mask still.
Yeah.
You guys ever
He goes
see,
from 0 to 60 like so quickly, like too. He can be so reserved and then just be like bringing it, but it's not outrageous.
And then he can be gone in 60 seconds.
Yeah.
Apropos. Have you guys ever seen Matchstick Men?
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's a good movie. I don't know if you remember it, but
It's not bad.
it's good. It's better
it's
than
great.
Talk Dangerous, which is what he was in 12 years ago.
I think this cements Cage as just an action star.
All right.
I think it's close.
Well,
It's close to
I'll
Zippy's
agree.
Mountain. I mean,
I'll agree.
It's either
It's a
Bay or
phenomenal movie.
Like,
Yeah, I was gonna say Bay. I had Bay
Bay's
because I think it's the most Michael Bay ever in a good way.
and Bay gets to do whatever he wants after this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is probably not good because then he
No, it's not good. Yeah, it's not good. But he's rich and he's happy, I'm sure. So good for him. All right, that's The Rock. That's fun.
We did it.
207 on the dot. All right.
So Mark, you're hosting next. You said you want to do Austin Powers 1 or 2.
I was floating that out. I'm open. I don't remember.
This is
anything
your
else.
this is
It's
your
your
host. If it's your host,
Is 2 better than 1? I don't remember them.
I personally
You're
gonna-
think 2 is better than 1, but that's up to you to say.
We're gonna have to watch them. You guys got to listen to me fanboy over The Princess Bride for 2 hours a couple weeks ago.
All right. Let's do a TBD. Let's do a TBD.
All right. Okay.
For our 1 or 3 viewers out there,
Yeah.
you just have to
Yeah.
wait till next time.
Yeah, they'll be on pins and needles waiting to see what comes next. All right, boys. Good stuff.
All right. Thank you.
See you guys.
Later. See ya.